your wintry neighborhood winter spell. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I know it was a few days ago. There has been a lot of things going on in my world. But I am here. I am ready to have some fun. And I hope you guys are too. No, that's Fallout 4. It ain't Skyrim. So I know we have tried to do our Brotherhood of Steel playthrough for a friggin' while. We've had two false starts, but I think this time we got it. Alright, so what we're going to try to do for this playthrough is... excuse me, I still have my cough. It has lasted all year. I got some good tea, though. So what we're trying to do for this playthrough is a gunslinger build. So this is not what we're going with. This is just... what I like to do is I like to have a save file at the start of the game, just after the vault opens, so I can, kind of go over the beginning. Alright, so this is the PS5 version of Fallout 4. It is the Anniversary Edition. Alright, so I had this written down. Let's see. 5, 6... Agility, I need to get to like 8. Alright, this might be difficult. I might need to raise the charisma later. I need intelligence at least at 2. So for this build, I'm honestly going to need to pump some points in on level ups, which is okay. It's a little annoying. So our 3 most important attributes for this playthrough is perception, perception, agility, and luck. We're going to need to get our luck at least up to 4. I think we can do this. Alright, change it to Wyatt. So, we're naming him Wyatt because that is the name of a very beloved... it's the name of a very beloved D&D character of mine who was a warlock cowboy named Wyatt. Wyatt Maverick at your service. He was a lot of fun. I did not get to play him very often. I've played him in 2 campaigns. One ended rather disastrously, and myself and my friend left that campaign because there was honestly a lot of problems, and the DM kind of ghosted us. For the second one, it also did not end well. We got a bad start to a campaign, and we kind of retconned it later. And I decided to go with a different character, because I didn't really want to do it the 3rd time. I will return to Wyatt, and he will be a lot of fun. Alright. Pick something that seems cowboyish. Might go with Urban Ranger. We'll do Urban Ranger. Dude, stop moving your face. There we go. The Bard is good. Could just go with the Gunslinger. But I do like the mustache. Okay, yeah, my controller's doing that thing again. Apparently, if it starts to drift, I'm supposed to press on it and then it for a bit. Honestly feeling that. Let's go with light gray. I like that. Yep. Excuse me. Again, I know the coughing is really annoying. I'm really sorry about that. I've not been able to kick that cough all year. I don't know why. Alright. So, few things different with the Anniversary Edition. You know, it used to be that all of our creations are kind of just loaded right in. We actually have to find the quests in the world now, which I'm okay with. Like, I am okay with that, because it does make things feel a little more real. But I believe I should be able to find a backpack rather quickly. Which is good, because I like to have the backpack. Alright, so my charisma is not as high as it usually is. So there are a few certain perks we are absolutely taking. But whenever we're not taking those perks, we are going to increase our stats. Because I feel like that's very important. Because, again, things are a little lower than I usually like them. But we kind of needed to have that high agility to begin with. Yeah. Because, reason being, I want to get quick hands as soon as possible. Like, that's going to be like my level 2 perk. The first perk I usually take is, it's almost always, you know, you can breathe underwater and you take no radiation damage in water. And that is just because it is so useful. Oh, we're going to be like that, huh? And I'll admit, the biggest reason for me doing a gunslinger build for this is honestly because there's a lot of really cool non-automatic pistols, especially in the Anniversary Edition, and I really just wanted to try them. Because my personal playthrough, I was doing a soldier build, so completely automatic weapons And there was just a lot of things I wanted to try.
Sweet.
Yeah, agility +2, I'll take that. Because right now, that's kind of the best. And to be fair, Nate is a military man. So I actually heard something interesting. Excuse me. I heard something interesting. I haven't actually had the chance to confirm, but it's cool if it's true. Someone was telling me that Nora is actually the canon person that survives the vault. And I think that would be very cool if it was true. Like I said, I have not confirmed this yet. But it's kind of the opposite of what we would expect, because, for one, Nate's the military veteran. He's the one that's most likely, I think, to survive in this environment. Just because, you know, he is... Excuse me. He's actually been in combat. Like, Nate was involved in the war. He's from active combat. So, in my eyes, he'd be the one most likely to survive this. Because his training would make him, you know, a lot tougher. It would make him able to deal out the situations. And Nora is more of an intellectual. I think she's a lawyer. And I don't know personally what kind of physical abilities she would canonically have. But I feel like it's not up to Nate's snuff, because, again, military veteran. But if Nora is the one that survives and canonically does all this, that just kind of makes it more amazing. Because she's going from, you know, being purely an intellectual, being appears to be a stay-at-home parent. Which, again, I could be incorrect, because I don't know as much of her story. I don't know a lot of Nate's backstory either. But that kind of transformation would be incredible. It would be incredible to see. But it also does make sense, because, I mean, this is about finding their son. And I know for damn sure, if I got kidnapped, I'd expect my mother to find me first, not my father. Not that my father, you know, wouldn't be looking or anything, but I've seen what happens when mother gets determined. And she would rip anyone apart to find me. Love you, Mom. I really do. You're amazing. I am serious. My mother is incredibly amazing. She is a very powerful woman. I love her with everything I got. I'm very lucky to have her as my mom. It's true. But, like I said, I think it brings a more interesting bend to the story. It goes from just, you know, Nate going, haha, automatic weapon go burr, to, I mean, I'm not really sure. Just, it's, like I said, it's an interesting idea. Because I've just automatically assumed Nate was canon. Because he's the one you start out as, and again, you know, he's the military guy. You know, that actually does make me wonder. Like, I've got a lot of friends that were in the military. Like, good Lord, I think like at least a good third of the people I know were in the military. It makes me wonder, how would a military veteran survive in this environment? is I would assume that they would have advantage, given that, they're trained to do this stuff. Although I suppose it would, depend on, how many years has it been since they were in active service? Were they ever in combat? Things like that. Let me blow my nose. Like, my uncle was in the military. Personally, I don't see him surviving this. That's not to say that I think he's, weak or anything, but the man's also, I think, in his 60s at this point. Less of a chance. Still a decent chance, sure. But I feel like less of a chance. I got another buddy. He's at this point, I think, a few years out of active service. But the dude, he knows how to make big booms. He's in great shape. And he's, I think, mid-20s. So him, I think he would do very well in this environment. Talking about you, Chris. I doubt you're watching, but I think you do very well here. He'd probably go like woohoo, and then for somehow like get his own faction. I could see that happening. Like our other friend Brandon would just be sitting there going, "All right, let's go." He'd be there too. I gotta hang out with those guys soon. Come on. But no, like, I would foresee some crazy stuff coming out of that. I'd turn away for 5 minutes, and I'd come back, and he'd be like some underking of an explosives-fueled arena, and I wouldn't know what happened. But here we would be. Good God, I cannot stop coughing. Break apart a few things while I'm standing here. I'll take the oil can. I'm just doing my exploration first. I just find it a little smoother that way. Alright, so I have a couple of, I'll take the General Atomics shirt. I'll need to pump my charisma a couple points before I get to Diamond City. Because once I get to Diamond City, I usually like to do a few jobs that are there. And I try to get the max for payment. So I'm going to need 10 charisma by the time I get there. But I only need to put it up to 6 because I can add the other 4 with items. So I'll also need the hat, the glasses, and the shirt before then, but I got the shirt. Alright. Ah, poo. I have a solution. Alright. Now, I can't unlock the safe in here yet. But I can collect the stuff in here. Like, this place is a treasure trove. Because, like I said, not only does it give me the gold bars, which I never use them for material, I just use them to get caps at the beginning of the game. Oh, I keep pressing the Skyrim sneak button. But very impressive the guy made the bunker. Alright, jump up here. Come on. Do not fall. I didn't know this was up here for the longest time. I love that despite playing certain games for years, you can still find out more stuff. And I've said this before, and I really mean it. And especially for Bethesda games. Elder Scrolls and Fallout are so packed with details and like hidden things, and I love it. I take your pencil. All right. After I'm done searching, I'll take the opportunity. I'll build the beds and such that I need. Jerk. There we go. I'll build the beds I need and like set up the defenses and stuff, but I am not intending to use this as my actual base, because you know the way I like to do it. I like to have a base of operations, but I'll use this place to level up. I think that counts as searching the neighborhood. I'm here, Codsworth. Let's talk about your trauma.
As I live and breathe. Oh, it's really you.
Codsworth, you're still here.
God, I look like the absolute most hippie barista, and I friggin' love
But
it.
of course I'm still here.
I mean, I was a barista. Good God, I really have done just about... I have done so many different things in my jobs.
But you seem the worse for wear. Best not let the wife see you in that state. Where is the missus, by the way?
She is with Jesus.
She's in a better place.
Sir, these things you're saying, these terrible things, I believe you need yes, a distraction to calm this dire mood. It's been ages since we've had a proper family activity. Checkers or charades.
I see how Codsworth is trying to be upbeat, but he is fishing for information and trying to hope that
Sean's
it's not true.
been kidnapped. But I'm going to find him. I'm going to get my son back.
It's worse than I thought. You're suffering from hunger-induced paranoia. Not eating properly for 200 years will do that, I'm afraid.
Doesn't matter how long it's been. I feel fine.
I'm just dying over here, don't worry about it.
210, actually, sir. Or give or take a little, for the Earth's rotation and some minor dings to the old chronometer. That means you're 2 centuries late for dinner. Perhaps I can whip you up a snack? You must be famished.
Codsworth, you're acting a little bit weird. What's wrong?
Oh, sir, it's been just horrible. 2 centuries with no one to talk to, no one to serve. I spent the first 10 years trying to keep the floors waxed, but nothing gets out nuclear fallout from vinyl wood. Nothing.
They said the name of the movie in the movie.
Don't get me started about the futility of dusting a collapsed house. And the car. How do you polish rust?
Stay with me, pal. Focus.
I'm afraid I don't know anything, sir. The bombs came and all of you left in such a hurry. I thought for certain you and your family were dead. I did find this holotape. I believe the missus was going to present it to you as a surprise. But then, oh, everything happened.
Thank you, Codsworth.
You're welcome. Now, enough feeling sorry for myself.
Can a robot
Shall
cry?
we search the neighborhood together?
Codsworth, I already looked. They're not here.
Then they're really gone, aren't they?
Thanks for trying, Codsworth.
You can't give up, sir. What about the city? Concord is nearby, and, well, the people there have only shot at me a few times.
Thanks for your help, Codsworth.
Good luck, sir. You'll find young Sean. I know you will. I shall...
They've only shot at me a few times. Oh, I left that on. I had forgotten to turn off the ringer for that. Because, you know, I try to leave it off. Because, I mean, you guys don't need to hear my 1,000 notifications going off at once. That's just rude. A red Vault Boy shirt. Alright, take it on agility. Because that gives me the 8th one I need. I'll mark that off. Excuse me. Alright. There's my 8 agility. I'll keep the general atomics for now. Alright, 160 points, not bad. Alright, let's come over here. Oh, there it is. Alright, let's see if we can't... Well, first, let's pop over to Red Rocket. We'll get dog meat, and we'll start doing a little grinding. Why do I look so thick in these fatigues? Never mind. Alright, there's Puppy.
Hey, boy. What are you doing out here all by yourself? You want to come with me, pal?
There you go. You come with me.
Then. Let's stick together.
Alright, take the first level up. Because honestly, I'm in water enough that I don't want to take damage. Alright, we're going to break everything. Because we're also going to bring all the pieces back over to Sanctuary Hills. Because until I have something else, that is my base. And I'm going to want all this stuff ready to go. That's what I was waiting for. There we go. That's build, ladies and gentlemen. Love it. I have not done a pistol or VATS build in the longest time. I forgot, it really can make you feel like a god. But something I'm really glad about, I have the Tunnel Snakes DLC in this. It adds a quest that's Tunnel Snakes themed, you know, from Fallout 3. It puts the classic 10mm back in the game. And this is the isometric Fallout 10mm. So, and it looks really cool. So I am excited to use that. I'm going to be grabbing one as soon as I can. Because it's a really cool looking gun. I don't think it's technically upgraded. A big difference between it and the regular 10mm, it cannot go automatic. So it is purely a non-automatic pistol. Which is why I got a little ticked off for my personal playthrough, because I found one and I'm like, oh cool, I haven't used one of these in I don't know how long. And then I couldn't use it because I was doing a full automatic build. And I had like 3 or 4 guns I was holding onto at one point. But they all had to be automatic because I wasn't going to spend perk points on non-automatics, because that would hurt my build. But it meant I couldn't use the pistol, and that made me sad. So I'm going to use it this time. Because like I said, it looks cool, and there's a really good version of it in the Tunnel Snakes quest that also does radiation damage. Almost done with this. And then I make boards and rubber mats. See if I can't get myself to at least level 5, maybe 6 or 7. All depends on how far it'll let me go. I think that's it. At least out here. Now I gotta break what's inside. There's plenty of good stuff in the Red Rocket. And Red Rocket itself is a good tutorial on making a settlement. And I appreciate that. Because it's the first one where you're on your own. If that makes sense. It can feel completely yours. And it lets you play around with stuff. I mean, I built a house on the roof. That was fun. It really was. I built like a 2 or 3 story house on the roof. It was honestly hilarious. There we go. Like I said, see if we can get this to raise me up to at least level 5. But I've raised myself up to 7 this way before. So my goal is 7. Does that give me a good enough start? The graphics really are sharper on the PS5. I definitely prefer this over the PS4 version. I really love having a PS5, I'm not going to lie to you. And even though I've had it for, gosh, I don't know how long now, it's been a few months. And still rather delighted, honestly. It was a very heartfelt gift from someone. All right. Excuse me. I gotta decide where my base is gonna be. It might be the vault, because I do need the achievement, or the trophies for that. Because, you know, if you didn't know, if you owned a game on the PS4 and you get a PS5 and there's an option for the upgrade, what happens is the PS5 version is treated as a separate game. So, for example, I got 100% of the trophies for Skyrim on the PS4. And it's still recorded in my history that I have that. But I don't have the trophies for Skyrim on the PS5. Because it's not the same game. The computer will recognize it as an entirely separate thing. Which I kind of think is hilarious. Alright, rubber rug. Excuse me, I must blow my nose again. Also, for my fans out there, because I know that there are some. Recently started a new game that's been out for a few years now. So, for those who do not know, I am a big fan of Shadowverse. Shadowverse is a collectible card game that started on an app. Now, the original app has since shut down, actually this year, but its success is that's where we're better on the stone. A lot of fun. So in 2023, they actually made a paper version called Shadowverse Evolve. The game I want to say, I don't think Union Versus. They also, I believe, coming soon is the Pal World card game. They also did Future Card Buddy Fight, an old favorite of mine, which unfortunately the game has died since. At least in America, which makes me very sad, because I still have 4 of my Buddy Fight decks, and I really loved the game. But yeah, I've recently started playing Shadowverse Evolve. So far, I have a sword main deck right now. It's my tournament. It's a Royal Paladin deck from the Vanguard crossover, the Card Fight Vanguard crossover. And it's really powerful, let me tell you. I also have a Discard Dragon deck, which, honestly, I'm not feeling as much. I love Dragoncraft, but that particular style is working for me. So I'm actually building a different Dragoncraft deck, the Marine deck, which at my local store we call the Wets. Because that style is going to suit me a lot better. And I've always thought it was hilarious that Dragoncraft had mermaids and whales. I just thought that was awesome. And in the Shadowverse, I actually played a mermaid deck, which was incredibly powerful. I enjoyed it immensely. Alright, we got 4 points. Take quick hands. Oh, I need 1 more intelligence. There we go. I needed that. Alright, I'm at level 6. I'll have to take that next. Alright, so we actually got a good start. Jeez. Alright, I'll bring this back to Sanctuary. So yeah, I've also got a Forestcraft deck, which I'm working on making a lot better. I'm still tinkering with it and figuring out how I want to play it. It's a lot of fun. You summon fairy tokens and just, like, punch people in the face as hard as possible constantly, which I think is utterly hilarious. Alright, let's break all the wood out here. So, I'm going to try to put out some Shadowverse Evolve content on both my TikTok, and I'll post the same videos on here that I make in TikTok, because I can do so. And I really think you guys should check it out. It's a lot of fun. It has that back and forth gameplay, and it feels a bit more fair, if that's a word I could use, than a lot of modern games. There's more back and forth, more exchange. the matches, I think, feel more alive. Like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, if you don't get your setup like before the other guy, you kind of just sit there and wait to die because you can't do anything. Like Yu-Gi-Oh was my first card game that I really played. I still have a fondness for it, and I'll play it like in a video game. Like I've got Legacy of the Duelist on my Switch. On an emulator of mine, I've got the Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's games, and I've got GX Duel Academy. But paper Yu-Gi-Oh is not fun for me anymore. Even though I do keep a few decks. Just that, like a Dark World and Fire Kings. I'll keep them. If I have the chance, I'll play. But I'm not active in it right now. Magic, honestly, can do the same thing. Like, I love Magic. It's one of my favorite games. I love playing Commander with my friends. Can still have a lot of stall. Sometimes not as much interaction. But Shadowverse definitely feels a lot more alive. And I'm enjoying it more than I've enjoyed a lot of card games for a while. So I'm excited to grow and see what I can do in this game. Like I said, I'll put out some content. Like when I have my Marine deck built, I'll definitely do a profile. I can talk about the different crafts and such. They're called crafts, by the way. It's Swordcraft, Abysscraft, Swordcraft, Abysscraft, Dragoncraft, Forestcraft, Runecraft, and Havencraft, as well as neutral cards. Like I said, great fun, and I'll be able to talk about it more later. I actually went to play Shadowverse last night. I placed 3rd in the tournament, 2nd week in a row. Like, I'm doing really well, and I'm pleased. There we go. Like I said, I'm just going to break a bunch of stuff down. And we're going to try to level up some more. After we set up the beds and the defense and such for the people to move in. Because that's the next thing we're going to do. You know, get these guys in here. So we can advance things. But we're going to make our way in a bit of a roundabout way. Because I'd like to get to the Drumlin Diner first. Usually getting to the Drumlin Diner is one of the first things I like to do because it's like my first, like, real vendor. Like, stationary vendor. I'm not counting Trash Can Carla. Simply because she moves around. There we go. And it's also, the Drumlin Diner is most likely to have my backpack. And as anyone who's watched any of my Skyrim or Fallout streams before, you know I love my backpacks. I adore my backpacks. And I don't know why I love them so much, but I just freaking love backpacks. Alright, I am not worried about the radiation damage, because I'm not having it. Now let's just think for like Nate or Nora's perspective for a moment. Like as they're doing something like this, I would wonder if when they first emerged, did they spend time trying to clean up their neighborhood? Because, I mean, that's just something to think about. Because you emerge from the vault, and you see your home destroyed. Now, did they sit down and, like, take a time to grieve and cry? Did they lose it? Or did they try to futilely start cleaning things up to try to make it look a little bit like Sanctuary Hills again? If it were me, I feel like I'd kind of just be stunned. And I'd probably sit down on a bench and just stare at things. Just trying to process that everything's gone. Because you're looking at a site that's both familiar and not. Because this is your neighborhood, sure, but it's in such a state of disarray and destruction that it doesn't look like your neighborhood anymore. Like, that has to screw with you. In, like, the worst way possible. I will admit, it annoys the crap out of me that part of this fence is outside the barrier. Because my OCD wants me to clear it all away. But I cannot. And that ticks me off. Because it's like an itch in the back of my head that I cannot scratch. And, because, see, that bothers me. That bothers me so much. In my head, I can hear Perfect Cell. It's okay, it doesn't bothers me, it bothers me a lot. Because it does. And I'm just like, why? Why? And I want to get rid of it so bad. And I can't. We're also going to stop by the Abernathy farm. We're going to get potatoes there, so I have enough food for everyone. Because as it is, we will not have enough food for the Sanctuary quest. Once I get all the wood, we'll do our trick. I don't really think of it as a hack. I think of it just as using the mechanics of the game to give you a bit of a boost starting out. Because first time I did, I just ran straight out of here and just started doing without even thinking about anything. And I couldn't do a blasted thing. I mean, this way, I've got a few levels to start. So I actually have some perks and such. Because I'd like to start out at least a little competent, you know? Alright, anything? There's a couple left. I think that's about everything. No, there's more. I'll get the rest of the wood, because I do want to make as many of those things as possible. And I know this is tedious. You know, it's partially why I'm still talking all the way through it, so you guys don't get too bored. Like, I know this is tedious, but it is worth it in the long run. Because it helps you accelerate your build. Now, I will say, although I intend to go Brotherhood of Steel with this playthrough, because that's also the only faction that you guys haven't actually seen me play through all the way, I will do enough quests for the Railroad to unlock Ballistic Fiber. At least that is my plan. That's why I left enough points in strength to do Armorer. Simply because then I can add the Ballistic Fiber. Never get that one. But ultimately, we're doing Brotherhood of Steel. Because you've seen me play through the end of the Railroad. You've seen me play through the end of the Institute. So now you're getting Brotherhood of Steel. And like I said before, I do believe that if we were going canonical, I believe that Nora would do the Institute, and I believe Nate would do the Brotherhood of Steel. But I also believe it's a possibility that Nora would choose the Brotherhood of Steel as well, for the simple fact that she could have done it, like she could choose the Brotherhood of Steel because it felt familiar. Like, that was my reasoning for Nate choosing the Brotherhood of Steel. But Nora could also choose it because she was a military spouse. She was probably well versed in, you know, how the military operates and the familiar feeling of it. So there is always the possibility that she could have chosen the Brotherhood of Steel as well because it felt familiar, and maybe as a tribute to Nate, or just simply because it was a way to feel closer to him. Because even though I like to romance if I get the chance to in these games, because it's just nice. And I believe there is a perk that happens if you sleep in the same house as your romantic interest. I still have, like, the canonical thought of they never forget their spouse. Because it is kind of hard if your partner dies. It's hard no matter what to get past that and to feel okay and to, you know, even get with someone again. Like that's very difficult. Even harder when you had a kid with that person. So I could honestly see Nora joining the Brotherhood of Steel because it reminds her of Nate. But I still think canonically she would join the Institute. I feel like that leans a little heavier. Because again, she is an intellectual. She's a lawyer. That sort of environment would probably feel good. You know, her son's there. And, you know, she would probably see the Institute as the best chance of the Commonwealth. Which, quite honestly, I believe that too. I really think the Institute, while they're kind of messed up, let's be honest, I still feel like they're the best hope for the Commonwealth. Because even though Sean didn't really want to help them, if you're the new leader, they kind of got to do what you say. And as the new director, you could direct resources towards improving the Commonwealth. And I feel like that's the only chance the Commonwealth has of any sort of pre-war normalcy. So canonically, I think the Institute is the correct choice. But I believe they've already said the canonic result is the Brotherhood of Steel path. Again, I'm trying to remember because I'm not entirely certain. But I believe that Bethesda did say the Brotherhood of Steel is the canonic path. Which, you know, if it is, it is. And it does make sense. But it's not I would have gone. But I'm also not a writer at Bethesda. You know, last time I checked. So I don't think they care what I think. Alright, yeah, we're gonna get a decent amount of leveling up from this. I also want to see how high we can go. Ow, that is hurting my hand. You know, I think we're going to reach at least level 10 from this, which I am pleased about. That's weird. Do they not want to let me higher? I don't think they want to let me higher than this. It's pretty cool, though. I am so glad I figured out I could do this instead of what my original thing was, which was just making wooden posts. That was dumb. But yeah, I don't think they want to let me go higher than that. Oops. Really build a this leveling trick. Wood is abundant resources in the early game. Nope, don't crud. I know it's a little tedious, but really also, I did not know Jersey Mike's had such a good food. Like I said, I went to the Shadowverse tournament yesterday, and we stopped at Jersey Mike's to actually taste how good the sandwich was. That honey John it was really good. Alright, clear out this spot for the beds. Like I said, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be a place for them to sleep. Which sounds horrible. It really does. Now, I will do one thing different. Fifth bed goes in here. Here we go. Oh yeah, cool. Alright, that's going to be for Mama Murphy. That's going to be her house. I like to do that. It makes There, that's enough water. See how high I can go this time. See if I finish off the wood. Man, I love tea. Alright, we've reached level 9. I think we can reach level 10. No issue. And that gives us a really good start. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to finish up the wood, then I'm going to do the rubber, and then I'll move on with the quest. Yeah. All right. Hell, we might even reach level 11 or 12. I'm not going to lie. That gives a start. A little bit. Level up. I was because when I'm trying to move fast, that's when it gets me. I'm gonna have to do that quest for Diamond City. Guy's attitude. Alright. Almost done with the wood. Yeah, we're about to reach level 10. Like I said, I do wonder if we can reach 11 or 12. Certainly cool. Also means if we can go back for what's in that basement. You know, speaking of Battleverse, I'm hoping I can, because our tournament does need some new blood. Like, they were so excited because they had new people in I don't know how long. So he's interested in a... Honestly, kind of... An abyss craft. This... It's also got a mad... One guy called the Tism deck. I even we a bit more. Like, on a train. Yeah, you got spells and amulets. They kind of sit there. You got 5 spaces on your field for things. It's very interesting. X zone a lot. The Marine deck I'm building does that. In fact, the whole game plan is alright. Reached level 11. That's pretty respectable. I know, I only climbed 10 levels. Ugh, how dare I. But, reaching level 11's pretty good. That means I got 5 more perk points to work with. Which I like the sound of. Explosive level 2. Alright, that's all I got. Alright, take locksmith. Yeah. That's fine. Because that lets me take the 2 levels of Gunslinger. Alright, so before we go, I'll improve my weapon. Alright, that's the best one I got right now. I'd need another adhesive. All right. Let's see what paint I like. You know, I think I'll go with army paint for now. That works. While we're here, Brax Adventure. Let's see. Let's look at adventure, see what that is. Yeah, I am not feeling it. Nuka-Cola? You know what? Sure. I got a Nuka-Cola Pip-Boy. We'll see how soon that gets annoying. Alright, so I've heavily improved my gun, which is what I want for starting out. Come on. Gotcha. The pistol build, so pumping up VATS as much as possible, pumping up agility, perception, because I want to hit fast, I want to hit hard. That is how this particular build works. I slap on that army helmet. I feel like Nate would be... Because again, it's something to him. There you are. Dropped.
Yes.
Not bad. Dog, you're kinda in my way. Taking the lantern. Alright, I lost the other one. Ooh. Yeah, I'll take that. Alright, head towards the farm. A row of potatoes is really all I need. Now, something to consider when you're doing a gunslinger build like this, it's not a horrible idea to have a sniper rifle as well. Just for, you know, long range. You know what? I'll take 2 rows. Because in all honesty, having long range is good, and having only one type of weapon you can use is not always the best. Now, where's that other Ragstad? Huh. Must have gotten away. Damn. So even though I don't want to really devote a lot of perk points to something else, I don't want to devote a lot of perk points to something else, but I can also, once I've got things set up, I can absolutely put the points into, like, the Rifleman perk. Or if I decide I want a melee weapon, which I often do in this kind of build, I can choose to, like, take Swinger. Because, you know, the punching one doesn't seem to make sense. But I'm thinking what we're gonna do is I may end up keeping a sniper rifle, I'm not sure yet, because this combat style is all about being up close and personal. But I will search for a good melee weapon. I think that would be wise. Possibly a swatter, because those can be fun. And I haven't used one in a while. I've only used like a combat knife. And I like swatters. So I may go by Jamaica Plains and pick up the swatter there. Oop, now I'm carrying too much. Dog meat, come here.
Hey.
Take my junk, buddy. I'll take it back when we get home. Alright, that works. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here as soon as I can, because I am surrounded by rads.
Perfect.
Yeah, that ain't good. Alright, we're gonna hit the Drumlin Diner, and then we're gonna head back to Sanctuary and drop all this stuff off. How long are we going, by the way? Oh, we've been going like an hour and a half. So yeah, Drumlin Diner will be the last thing we're going to do for this episode. And then next episode, we're going to head to Concord. Miss
there.
Trudy?
I can't wait to see the crows feeding on that scumbag.
Let's see what you got.
A little bit of everything.
All right. First up, we're buying that. I'll keep the 308 rounds just in case. Yeah, you don't have that. I'll grab those. Do wish you had a swatter. Oh, eyeglasses. We'll sell the drugs because I don't want to accidentally give them to Mama Murphy. Nice. You got in terms of outfits? Oh, got the military backpack. I need that. Got a flight helmet. Kind of like that. Dog meat, where are you? Come on, buddy. Where'd you go?
Hit a jet again, I swear.
Dog meat, come back. Come on, buddy. Come on.
Hey,
Because I need the gold. Where is my gold? I picked it up. It is over here. Now I feel silly. But that's normal. Come here, buddy.
hey.
Yeah, I'll throw a compensator on there. All right. A quick draw right there. Honestly, not bad. We're doing pretty good. Heal that up. Like I said, I think we are doing fairly good. We'll plant these. There. That should be enough food. Alright, that should be enough food. Let's see about what we picked up. $10. Certainly looks cool. I would need armor and science for that. Kind of cool, honestly. Alright, military backpack, no straps. This is endurance, intelligence, charisma. Let's improve agility. Yeah, NCR patch, I like it. Alright, so we are honestly off to a really good start. Like, we're a decent level, we've got some decent gear so far. I am... with the Creation Club Anniversary Edition. But honestly, I like it. I think we're doing okay. And I believe the way we're going to do it for this build is we're going to have 3 types of weapons. We're going to have explosive, we're going to have the pistols, the main weapon, and we're going to have a melee weapon, which is probably going to be a swatter. Where we are about an hour and a half into the game. So until next time, this has been your wintry neighborhood winter spell. Reminding you guys to stay frosty. Please like and subscribe. Remember that I have a TikTok under winter spell, and I really hope to see